So, in an alternate life, do you think this is what Keanu Reeves has spent the last, 30 plus years doing? In an alternate reality where he got Bill and Ted but didn't get Point Break right after? Just dicking around in fun films for decades?
What has happened to you, Gabriel? You're smoking cigarettes now?
Leave me alone, Jeff. I like it. It's all I have.
The duality of Keanu Reeves is unlike that of anybody else, you know? He is able to feel like a big, lovable, goofy, bumbling green flag in films like this, and then the deadliest assassin or chosen one in other films, and be completely believable at both. Of course, you'll realize if you look up his backstory and his life that the only difference between him and his character in this is that Keanu Reeves is good at being an angel. Good Fortune stars Keanu Reeves as Aziz Ansari, Seth Rogen, and Kiki Palmer. Gabriel the Angel has been watching Arj, who has been stuck living in his car, working frustrating gigs, and he's just been fired by Seth Rogen's Jeff, a rich tech bro guy who has an easy life. So Gabriel goes to Arj to counsel him and guide him and says, okay, well, have a look at Jeff's life. I'll put you in his shoes and you can see that it's not all it's cracked up to be. And then he realizes it is all it's cracked up to be. It's really great being rich and not having to live in your car. What? How did you think that was not gonna... Yeah. Yes, this is just a little bit insane, pretty funny, and filled with messages about poverty in America today, which doesn't feel like it really is that funny, yeah. It is difficult to do several things that this movie attempts to do. First, make a theatrical comedy in 2025, bold move, guys. Second, to reach out to the lower and working classes and say, we see you and we get that it's shit out there now. Coming from three guys, the poorest of whom has a net worth of like 25 million or so. I don't want to be a downer about it. I don't want to be that guy, but there does feel like there is a disconnect in some of this because I don't really think necessarily that these guys understand what it's like to be poor so much, as not today at least, and they don't, and that is because there is a very real disconnect. Like, they don't get it, but at the same time, Keanu Reeves is such a good goddamn guy in real life that you can't actually, even go oh, they never do anything to help people that are actually dealing with the situations. Keanu Reeves really does. Look up Keanu Reeves. You'll have a treat. You'll go down a rabbit hole and see, oh my god, he is the chosen one. It's incredible. But apart from that, there does feel like, because of that, in certain parts of the comedy, there is just a slight disconnect. And beyond that, it just feels like a lot of scenes in this are kind of built on the premise of, one joke. And then they kind of do that joke, and that's funny. But then the rest of the scene just kind of meanders along. A lot of the film feels like that. And the entire film is based on the idea that, hey, what if this guy was, shown that he could have this life, and then he goes, yeah, I wanted it. It is great. That is the whole joke of the film, and they play that off as comedy, a couple of times, but the rest of the time it is just, a kind of message film, a lot. Which is fine, because there are a lot of messages here, but it's kind of, we get it, we know it's shit. It's not really saying that much beyond that. Keanu Reeves is awesome, and it is so hard not to enjoy him just being a little naive guy as he tries to figure out how to actually deal with living instead of just watching humans. Don't quite understand how long he'd been an angel and been watching them, because he doesn't understand, so many things. You would think you would just pick them up a bit as you go along watching people, but this is fine. I do think that this is a fun film. I enjoy all three of these guys. They're all good in it, and they are at their best when all three are together, which doesn't happen much, but even just the scenes where Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves are trying to survive out there on their own, it's a fun kind of concept, but it is steeped in this bleakness where you're yeah. And it's only getting worse in America right now. I mean, it's not great here either in the UK, but it's just getting worse and worse in America, and you're just watching it going, oh my god, and you're thinking about it the entire time you watch this film a little bit, it's on your mind, which isn't a nice thing, especially if you get to not be in America afterwards. It just feels like this depressing idea that's kind of, they're trying to ignore an elephant in the room while also talking about it. I don't know, it just gives me a weird energy. I do enjoy the film. It sounds like I'm complaining a lot about it, I realize, but it is just not genius, and it doesn't need to be, because it's just a simple, fun, silly, goofy idea, and it works as that. It's just also covered in all of these things that you don't want to think about, but they're right there, and it's hard to balance the comedy with that. This is a film that's here to be fun and do something wild and weird, and help with the current drive to potentially bring comedy back to cinemas in a more permanent and relatively safe way. It has funny people in it. I love the fact that even in the worst version of this man's life that he's shown, it's like, oh yeah, no, lots of roommates and a hard existence and tough job and all of this. Even in that horrible version of his life that he thinks isn't worth living, he still gets to be with Keke Palmer. And I feel like that's the most disconnected thing about the whole situation. Like, it's really that bad, lad. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, anyway, I'm giving good fortune, bad fortune. Doesn't matter. These guys still all have fortunes. 3 stars. It's tough because nobody that has the money to make a film about these topics is going to really get them in a meaningful way. And they can make like a little funny thing about it while tackling these real issues and feel like they're hitting on them, but it's hard to feel like, ha ha ha.